Hi fashion enthusiasts, welcome back to my channel. You are highly welcome if you are a new subscriber, and if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much. Today we are going to be learning how to draft a perfect pant trouser for females, and we are going to be learning some tips and tricks around it. So if that interests you, please like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. You are highly welcome once again. So here are my drafting material, my pattern paper, rulers, my tracing wheel, scissors, marker, and so on. So I have marked my starting line. On the side I marked 1 inch, and on the upper part I marked ½ inch. But I would advise you to make sure your starting line is 1 inch on both sides. I have also marked my trouser length also, and the next thing for me to do is to label my waistline, which is the starting line. The next thing now is for me to divide my hip by 4, but it's advisable you add 1 inch to your round hip, then divide it by 4. From that point we'll calculate our crouch depth, and there are some formulas and tricks in calculating your crouch depth to get a perfect crouch depth. So please study it well and work around the one that suits your body measurements. So I'll calculate my crouch depth and I will input it. So to get a perfect mark, I will re-input my hip divided by 4 and I will mark it there. Now using my ruler, I will connect it to the waistline. Also, because I really need to get an accurate crouch depth, I'm going to remeasure my crouch depth and input it on that point so I can get a perfect box, because we're going to be needing this box, and I'll label that part my crouch. So that way our crouch has been gotten. To get your hip, you come up from your crouch by 2 inches. This automatically helps in getting a perfect hip. Some people 2.5 inches work, but 2 inches is mostly commonly used. To get your crouch curve, your round hip, your real round hip, you divide it by 20. Whatever you get, you input it on that point and you connect with a ruler. Then using your curve ruler, you create a curve from the hip point to the crouch curve point. Now we are going to be working on the waist area, and I'm going to be inputting my dart. So if you are creating a pants trouser that it is with elastic band, you don't need a dart. But if it's a fitted one, you will use your nipple to nipple measurement you divide it by 2 and use it to get your dart. Then for the dart length, I made use of 5.5 inches. Then I will be marking my dart intake of 1 inch, half inch on both sides, and I will be connecting it to the dart leg like so. So if you have any question concerning the drafting of this trouser pattern, please ask in the comment section. After that, I will divide my round waist by 4 and I will return the dart allowance that has been taken to avoid shortage, and I will use my straight ruler to connect it into the hip, as you can see. So actually, if you have it in mind to make use of elastic rubber for your pant trouser, you do not need a dart nor your round waist measurement. You are going to work with your round hip measurement alone. Now I'm going to be marking my knee length measurement, that is the distance from the waist to the knee, and I'm going to be marking it and rolling it out like so. Then I'll label it also, because we are going to be needing it. Then afterwards we are going to be getting our crease line, and to create the crease line you will divide your crouch. You can see the way I'm doing it in the video. You will divide it by 2. So using the starting line on this side, you are going to be imputing whatever you get, as in half of what you got on the knee length and on the length of the trouser, as in the full length of the trouser, because this will help us to get a perfect pencil shape. I'm also trying to mark it in between here so that my lines can be straight. And now I'm going to be connecting it together with my ruler like so. So this way we are going to get a perfect pencil trouser. It won't be shifting. I've seen a lot of people complain that their trouser shifts on the side or the back comes into the front. So the crease line will help you to avoid those mistakes. Now I'm going to be inputting my round knee measurement, and to get a perfect round knee measurement, I am going to be dividing my round knee by 2 so I can get half for the front, and that half I will divide it by 2 and I will share it like so, using the crease line as a guide, half on this side and the second half on the other side. Using my curve ruler, I'm going to blend it into my crouch point, and I'll make sure that it is well blended. Now also I'm going to be inputting my round ankle, And to get a perfect ankle, I'll divide it by 2, then divide it by 2 again, as in my round ankle, and I will impute those points, sharing it using the crease line as a guide. And using my long ruler, I'll connect it like so, and I'm going to try to blend in any sharp point. So after doing this, I am going to be setting the front pattern aside so we can draft the back pattern. So here is the fabric for the back pattern, and the first thing we are going to be doing is to mark our starting line. But unlike the front, the back pattern starting line will be 3 inches, but I will advise you to use 4 inches at least. And on the side also, I will mark 3 inches. I made use of 3 by 3 inches, but I will advise you to mark 4 inches by 4 inches so you can have enough space to impute your allowance, because we are going to be marking allowance. And now I'm going to be folding in the starting line of my front pattern so that it will just be an accurate starting line and those lines will not be too confusing. And using my tracing wheel, I'm going to be tracing out all the vital lines on my front pattern into the back pattern. Please watch closely. It's not all the lines I traced out, it's just very few things I need. So please watch closely the things I traced out. So now I'm going to highlight it with my pencil. Though it's not very obvious, but I use a pencil to mark it out. Then from the length of my crouch depth, I'll come in by 1 inch, as you can see. And on the upper part, on the waist area, I'll come in by 2 inches. Using my ruler, I'm going to connect it together to form a slant like so. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to raise my crouch depth at the back area. So if you are someone who has small bum bum, you can use 2 inches. For people who are more bigger on the bum area, 2.5 or 3 inches is advisable. So this way, when you bend down, there's nothing that's going to be revealing on your back area. Now, to calculate the crouch curve for the back, you are going to divide your hip by 10. So whatever the result you get, you will mark it from this new crouch depth point and you connect it like so. To get the curve, you are going to come out from that corner by 1 inch, and you are going to try your best to blend it into your hip point. You might not get the curve at once, but try to make sure that you make a good blend. And here is mine. Now I'm going to be dividing my round waist by 4 and I'm going to impute it. But also we are going to be doing some alteration on the side waist, in the sense that we are going to be raising it up by ½ inch. So I can know where the point that ½ inch will be. I just want to mark my round waist, and I also added 1 inch for my dart. But I'm going to, on that point now, I was able to know where I'm going to raise up the side waist by ½ inch, so that it will sit well on our side waist, because our waist is higher on the side. So now I'm remeasuring my round waist by divided by 4 plus the 1 inch that I'm going to be using for the dart, and I'm connecting it into the ½ inch I raised on the side waist. Also, I'll divide my nipple to nipple measurement by 2 and I will mark so I can get my dart. And for the dart length, I'm going to make use of 6.5 inches and I'll connect like so. And I'll also impute my dart intake of 1 inch. We are going to be looking that the dart was looking slanted. Remember, we've done some alterations at the back, so it will look like so. But trust me, by the time you sew this on the body, it is going to align well. Remember, our body is not straight. Now, for the round hip, I'm going to divide the hip by 4 and impute. Then I'll add extra ½ inch as is. But this is only needed for someone who is or a plus size or someone who has bum bum. If you are not the plus size, just add your round hip divided by 4. Remember, we've had some extra allowance before already. So I'll divide my round hip by 4 again on the crouch area, and I will add the ½ inch. On the knee area this time around, all I need to do is, using the mark, the line of the front, I'm just going to add ½ inch. Same thing on the side knee, I will only add ½ inch, and I will use my ruler to connect it. So on this point, you might have some little inconvenience blending it. So just try your best to blend it to the hip area. Even if there's a little shift around the crouch, it doesn't affect anything. So here is mine, and I've blended it and cancelled the unwanted points. And on the ankle area, as in the full length of the trouser, I'll also come out by ½ inch on both sides. So this is the fourth side. I'll use my ruler to connect together, and on the second side I'll come out by ½ inch, and I will use my ruler to connect. So this way your back pattern will sit perfectly well. Same goes for the front, and I'll use my curve ruler to blend it, and our back pattern is ready. Then after that, I'm going to be adding my sewing allowance round everything, and on the crouch area I'm going to be adding ½ inch sewing allowance. As you can see, you do not need much. All you need is ½ inch. On the inseam, I'm going to be adding ½ inch also, because you wouldn't want that area to be bulky. Then on your hemming area, I added 1 inch in this video, but you can make yours 1.5 or 2 inches. And on the side seam, I added 1 inch sewing allowance. So 1 inch 1.5 is advisable, but you wouldn't want too much bulkiness around that area. And on the upper part, I added ½ inch sewing allowance. So you can see that my paper, there was a bit shortage on that part, and after that I am going to cut everything out. So please try to make sure that your paper is enough to avoid shortage, unlike what I'm passing through in my own video here. I like telling people whatever mistake I make so they can avoid those mistakes. And here is the back pattern totally ready. Now we are going to be finishing up with the front pattern, and the first thing I'm going to do is to eliminate smile line, also known as puff, in the front of trouser. I'll be coming down by 1 inch on that point, and on the side waist I'll be coming up by ½ inch. Using my curve ruler, I'm going to connect it together. So I'll try to look at it very well, and I will blend them well together, as you can see. And now everything is ready. All I need to do is to mark my sewing allowance round. So you saw the way I marked my sewing allowance at the back, so I also use that same pattern. Everything you added at the back is what you need at the front, and now I'm just going to be cutting everything. So if you plan to add a zipper to your trouser, either in the front or in the back, you that point that there's going to be zipper, instead of ½ inch you make it 1 inch. So if you want me to make a video on that, let me know in the comment section. So here is the front and the back pattern, looking very lovely. Trust me, when you make a trouser out of this pattern, you are going to love the result. So if you have watched this video to this stage, please subscribe to my channel, like, comment, share my video, and see you in my next one. Until then, keep winning and keep growing.